We know how to find perimeter and area of a rectangle if there were just numbers there. So we also know how to find it algebraically when there are variables. Let's look at an example. Perimeter is the distance around the outside of a figure, so we're going to add all the sides. We know that this side is also 15x. By definition of a rectangle, we know that this side is also 3x. So when you add the x's, what you're doing is leaving the x, but you're adding the the coefficient in front. We're seeing how many x's we have. We have 15, 30, 33, 36. So what's the perimeter? 36x. An expression means it's going to not be just a number, a constant. It's going to have some x's in it. Then if we know what the perimeter is, it's 252, we can solve for x by setting up an equation. So this perimeter, 36x, equals this, 252. That's a simple two-step equation to solve. So we just divide both sides by 36, and 252 divided by 36 is 7. So what is x? X is 7. Now we want an expression for the area. We know that area is length times width. Length times width. So that would be 15x times 3x. 15 times 3 is 45. X times x is x squared. So what's my area? My expression for the area is 45x squared. Here I'm going to tell you what the area is. It's 405. So let's take this 45x squared that I got for my area and set it equal to what I know the area is, 405. This is one of those that doesn't have a middle term. It doesn't have an x term. It only has an x squared. So we're going to use the way we solved by square root of both sides. We're going to divide by 45. And we're going to get that x squared equals 405 divided by 45, 9. Now, if I want to find just x, I would take the square root of x squared. Square root of x squared is x. But to do what I do to one side, I must do to the other. Square root of 9 is 3 or negative 3, but I can't have negative 3 here, or that would make my area negative. That wouldn't make sense. So what is x? It's 3. So using algebra, I found an expression for perimeter, an expression for area. Then when I knew the answer, I could set up an equation and solve. Let's look at another example here. Let's look at, number 5 looks like a fun one. Number 5 is a square. The way I know that is these congruent marks mean that all sides are the same. So if one side is 2x plus 1, on a square, all sides are the same. So if we add them all to get perimeter, 2, 4, 6, 8, that's 8 x's. 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 4. I know my perimeter is 92, so let's make an equation. 8x plus 4 equals 92. That's just a simple two-step equation. Subtract your 4 and divide by 8. So x is 11. Now area on this one gets a little difficult. A little more tricky. So length times width, or on a square, you could say side squared. So if I did this, I'm multiplying this by itself because the sides are the same. Remember that we have to do the box method or the eyebrows and smiles or whatever way you like to multiply these, but don't leave out something. So I get 4x squared. This smile is 2x, this smile is 2x. When I combine like terms, plus 4x, 1 times 1 is 1. What's my expression for the area? 4x squared plus 4x plus 1. Now the area is 9. So 4x squared plus 4x plus 1 equals 9. If I were to solve this, I need it set equal to 0. The reason I didn't do that on number 1 is because I didn't have this x term in the middle. Since I do, I need to set it to 0. So let's minus the 9 from both sides. First thing that screams at me here is that we have a GCF of 4. So what if I divided everything by 4? Now suddenly my equation is a whole lot nicer. And it sure looks to me like this would be easy to factor. This one looks, like I said, simple to factor. If I factored it into this, x times x is x squared, 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. When I check my smiles, I get 2 minus 1, which gives me a plus 1 in the middle. Now, I don't want the negative answer. That wouldn't make sense in this situation. I only want the positive answer. So, if I set this equals 0, x minus 1 equals 0, I'm going to add 1, and I'm going to get x equals 1. If I set this to 0, I'm going to get a negative. So, what is x? X is 1. I can plug back in and see if this is true. If x was 1, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3, 6, 9, 12. Is that the same as putting 1 here? Oopsie, sorry, I went to the wrong one. I went to perimeter. X is 11 here. So 22 plus 1 is 23. 23 4 times, does that get me 92? Yes. If x were 1 and I put 1 here, that would be 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So it does check out, and you may do numbers 2, 3, 4, and 6 by yourselves now that you have these two excellent examples to follow.